Hey, hi, and howdy, sweet friends. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. My name is Courtney, and my YouTube channel focuses on food and kitchen content. I do grocery hauls every week, what's for dinner style videos, and sometimes I'll sprinkle in a third video related to all of that. So if that is your kind of content, I hope you will hit the subscribe button and stick around. All right, if you watched my grocery haul, then you know I shopped the sales to get all of my groceries. So my meal plan was based off of what was on sale in my area. And I think I did really well. We had some great meals. Everyone was super pleased with them. So let's kick it off with these PoBoy sandwiches. Now, this is based off of a sandwich that I had when we were eating out like 1 or 2 weeks ago. It was so good. I can't remember what they called it, but the waitress told me how they made the sauce for the shrimp. Their shrimp, of course, are like battered and fried. I'm cutting out some fat and calories, and mine are just boiled. But I've got about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and I'm adding in about the same amount of this chili cocktail sauce. And I'm going to stir that up really, really well. And I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic powder to it. You could throw in some onion powder if you wanted to. But the waitress told me that all was in their sauce was just mayonnaise and cocktail sauce. And you'd be surprised, like it sounds strange, but this is a really good sauce. It's a little bit sweet from the mayonnaise, and then it's got like a little bit of a kick from the cocktail sauce. And of course, I love garlic, so that is just perfect in there. I did add a little bit of salt in there. If you want to avoid the salt, I would suggest a little hint of lemon juice just to kind of brighten it up. But overall, this was a fun sauce. So all I'm going to do is just take my shrimp. Now, I bought the pre-cooked shrimp to make my life a little bit easier. They were on sale for $4.97 a pound, basically. So I've got 2 pounds that I'm going to be using throughout the week. I just pulled the tails off. They were already shelled. And I'm going to throw them into this sauce and just completely coat them. And that's all I'm going to do with the shrimp. All right, the only other things we're going to need is, of course, some bread. And then I'm going to put some lettuce and some tomato on mine. You could also do onion if you want to. A lot of people love onions and pickles. For me, I have some pickled onions in my fridge. I make them homemade. My family likes them. We put them on a ton of stuff. So I'm just going to be using those in place of both regular onions and pickles. But you can put whatever you want on your sandwich. I mean, if you wanted to do pickled jalapenos, that would be great as well. Totally up to you. Make this recipe your own. The only thing I really recommend is definitely using that sauce because it is so delicious. It just really made the dish. There's my pickled onions and of course the finished product there. That's all that's on there, those fresh boiled shrimp and the sauce, lettuce, tomato, and pickled onions. And this sandwich was so amazing. And it's nice and cool because it's super hot outside in Texas right now. So I really enjoyed that. Okay, our next meal is going to be this Mexican Fiesta. So this is something that my mom makes. I'm sure a lot of people make something similar. It's really easy and it's kind of a take on taco salad. So I've got some ground beef there, but you could use any meat you want. I've used ground turkey in the past, and I really think like some shredded chicken just cooked in a little bit of like picante sauce in the slow cooker would also be great. You might have some shredded pork, whatever you've got, just use that as your meat. I'm just doing, again, ground beef. I use the paper towel trick to drain that extra grease out. And then I'm going to simply season mine. Maybe you like taco seasoning on yours. I don't. I'm not a fan of store-bought taco seasoning. I just think it has way too much going on. I like it a little simpler, so I just stick to salt and pepper. I'm going to do some garlic powder and some onion powder. Likewise, fresh garlic and onion would also be an amazing choice in here. I'll also do a bit of chili powder. That's kind of all I feel like I need on this, and this meat really was great. It didn't overpower anything, especially because I have a lot of other flavors going on in this dish. Now, I am pretty heavy-handed with the chili powder. Heads up, I probably used a good half tablespoon or so in here. I don't really care for cumin, so I did not use any. I use it sometimes when I'm cooking, but it is not my favorite spice. Maybe you like it and you want to put it in, and that is great. Really just kind of make this your own. I like my meat to be kind of like taco style meat, but you might have a different, I don't know, Mexican inspired meat that you really enjoy. So once this ground beef is all crumbled and it's seasoned and ready to go, we're really ready to put our dish together. There is not a lot that goes on in here. We're going to use our leftover shredded lettuce from the night before. We're also going to use some of the leftover tomatoes if you want to, or you could replace that with just some salsa. I'm using a green salsa, so I have the tomatoes. I made some plain white rice. I've got some ranch style beans. They're a favorite. You can see I've got some tortilla chips there. I've got some cheese right there. My rice is plain, but cilantro lime rice would be great, or Mexican style rice. I've got guacamole. There's the meat, the tomatoes, and lettuce right there. And again, those pickled onions because we like them so much. And there's my salsa verde. And then finally, this Catalina dressing. Don't skip this step. Catalina dressing makes this dish. I know it sounds weird, but I promise you it is epic. And we just assemble it all in a bowl like a taco salad. And that is what it looks like. And this is one of our favorites. My husband absolutely loves this dish. He was so excited when he heard that I was making it. I cannot recommend that one enough. And it's a quick, easy meal too. So please make that one at home. I know you're going to love it. All right, a Mexican shrimp cocktail. I haven't made this in a long, long time. I first had this, oh my gosh, so long ago. It was back when I used to work, and we had a potluck at work, and one of the girls brought this, and I fell in love with it. It is so delicious. It's so simple too. Really, really great in the summer because it's a lot of bright, fresh flavors and the dish is cold. So I started off by mincing up some cilantro. If you are not one of the people that love cilantro, feel free to leave that out. But if you like it, add it. It adds a great flavor. I've got some cucumbers that I'm mincing up. Now, you could dice your veggies smaller than mine. I like a lot of texture. I like bigger chunks. So that's just me. You might like smaller chunks, and that's fine. I'm also going to go ahead and dice up 2 of these tomatoes. These are fairly large. They're like tomatoes on a vine. If I was doing Romas, I'd probably do 3. But I only needed 2 of these, and I'm throwing in juice and all. Some people like to drain their tomatoes. I'm not those people. I think the flavor that comes from them is fabulous, so I just toss them right on in because we're going to be adding tomato juice anyway. I'm going to add a poblano pepper. If you want yours spicy, add in a jalapeno or a serrano. I'm not making this one spicy. I'm keeping it pretty plain. And it's so good this way though. I'm going to just go ahead and dice this up. Again, I like bigger pieces. If you want your smaller, feel free to chop this much, much smaller. Totally is up to you. And we're also going to go ahead and add in a few other fun things. So these are spring onions. You could use any onion you want, but I do recommend green or spring onions. These are a lot like green onions. They're just a lot bigger. I'm just going to carefully kind of mince these up, and I use the green ends and everything. These are so, so good. They're not overpowering, but they have a great flavor. If you haven't tried them, I do recommend them. They're really, really tasty. But I'm going to add 2 of those in, and that's what everything looks like in the bowl. I start off with some salt because it kind of helps pull the juices out of everything so their flavors start to meld together, which is really what we want. We've got these beautiful, fresh, vibrant veggies, and we want the flavors to come together to make this dish. So next I'm going to add in some lime juice, and by some, I mean a couple of good tablespoons, maybe 3. I like a lot of citrus. You could do lemon if that's what you have. I, for some reason, I'm always a huge fan of lime when I'm doing Mexican food. I always just love the way it tastes, but lemon works great as well. I'm also going to be using a fun ingredient, ketchup. That's right. I will link a recipe down below, or I'll try to. It's really just a picture on Pinterest. I'll try to link that, and it tells you everything that goes in here. I'm going to add some cocktail sauce. You don't have to. I like it in there. I think it's great. So I did about half a cup of ketchup, and I'm doing about 3 tablespoons of that cocktail sauce. I like the little extra flavor zing that it brings. Some people will also add clam juice in theirs. I don't, but I do use Clamato. You can use whatever flavor of that you want. You might like the spicy one. You might want the plain one. I'm going to pretty much use that whole bottle by the end. But before we move on to our next ingredient, I wanted to make sure I had some liquid in there so I can put this avocado in. This will help the avocado not turn brown. Once you have the liquid in there and it can sink in that juice, it keeps its color and it stays beautiful. So make sure you've got everything diced and the juice in the bowl before you add your avocado in there. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I just did a couple of them. You can do as much or as little as you want. I really hate to put too many measurements on this because you might like different veggies that you want to throw in there, or more of one and less of another. I feel like the concept is more about adding your tomato juice and adding a little bit of ketchup and things like that, and less about telling you how many tomatoes and how many cucumbers to use. I like a lot of veggies in mine, a lot more veggies than shrimp. You might want more shrimp in yours. That's great. Just make sure you stick with a mix of the ketchup, the Clamato, the lime or lemon juice, and that should really get you through. Now I've added the rest of my Clamato in there, and there is my shrimp. It's about a pound of shrimp. Tails off, they're fully cooked. I'm going to stir those in, and I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes. And those shrimp really do suck up a lot of flavor from this juice. This is such a great, great dish. Oh, I love this so, so much. So I live down here in Texas. There's a lot of restaurants that serve this. On occasion, I will get it. It's always different everywhere I go. I feel like mine tastes way different than the restaurants, probably because I really don't put as much heat in there. Again, if you want serranos or jalapenos, that's great. I do add a little bit of salt and pepper in here just for some extra flavor, but I'm not adding any garlic or anything. Now, where I live, a lot of people will serve this with those saltine crackers right there. I don't. My husband ate them with that, but my personal preference is to serve these with some tortilla chips right there. That's my favorite. It tastes a lot like a pico de gallo, and I like to just eat a spoonful and dip some chips in there. I think it's great. But again, saltines are kind of traditional where I live, so you might want to do it with saltines too, and that is fine. Totally up to you. But there's a finished dish. It's beautiful and it's bright and it's so wonderful this time of year. All right, here's our last dish, Caribbean style sausage, beans, and rice. This is something I'm just kind of throwing together with some ingredients I had in my fridge that I wanted to use. So I'm starting off with this rice. I have rinsed it and I'm sauteing it in my skillet with a little bit of oil. And in order to cook it, it's 1 cup of rice. I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water and 1/2 cup of coconut milk. If you don't have coconut milk, you can do all water. You could add some chicken bouillon in there. It's up to you, but I wanted a little bit of coconut flavor. This is what it looks like when it's fully cooked. It doesn't really change the texture or anything, but I could smell the coconut in it. You could taste it a little bit as well. I went ahead and added a bit of salt. Now, if you're not using coconut milk, you want to add about 2 tablespoons of butter here just to kind of loosen this up and give it a little extra creaminess to it. I'm also adding in both lemon and lime juice. Now, I'm heavy-handed. I did at least 1 tablespoon of lemon, and I probably did about 2 tablespoons of lime in the end. You can adjust that. This is just cilantro lime rice. I like to add both lemon and lime in mine, and then I added a couple of tablespoons of fresh cilantro. But feel free to adjust the lemon and lime to your liking. I like things really vibrant when it comes to citrus. And then I'm going to let this sit with the lid on for about 10 minutes, and that cilantro really releases a ton of flavor. It tastes so good and so fresh. Now, there's not a lot going on in this dish either. I'm keeping it pretty simple. I've got a pineapple here. I did get this on sale last week for $1.98, so we've been snacking on it, and I'm going to use some to make this salsa. I've got pineapple. I've got a pepper. You can use a serrano, a jalapeno, or a poblano, totally up to you. And I have 1 big spring onion there, greens and all, chopped it all up. We're going to mix that together with some salt so it pulls all the juices out so they can kind of meld together. And then some lime juice or lemon, totally up to you, just to bring some brightness in there along with those peppers and onions and pineapple. And we're going to let this sit for a little bit too, just so the flavors can kind of come together. There is only 2 other ingredients that we're going to add in here. Those black beans on the back of the counter. I'll show you those in a second. They are just canned beans. And this sausage, you can use whatever sausage you want, but I had this in my freezer. It's a cherry chipotle sausage. I've never tried it. I got it on clearance at Market Street, so I thought this would be a great time to test it out. All I'm going to do is slice it up into little discs like that and just saute it on the stovetop till it gets a little brown and crispy. And that will go in a bowl with some of the rice and some of these black beans right here. I love these seasoned black beans. I have my own canned black beans as well, but I'm trying to work through the store-bought ones first. So I'll just drain those and add those in there and some of that salsa, and we'll have a beautiful bowl for dinner tonight. Really looking forward to this one. I'm going to take the picture in a minute and post it here on the end, but everything smells great and I've tasted the sausage and it's so good. So these are the meals this week. I hope you guys love these so much. I'm going to link or list the recipes down below for you to enjoy at home. Thank you for tuning in, and if you're not already, I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on Tuesday for my grocery haul. Have a great one, guys. Bye.